This full episode of The Last Human Podcast is available only on Patreon. Enjoy. Yo, is it true that Anguilla has the website address .ai, like the country of Anguilla?
Yes, it's true. The small Caribbean island of Anguilla owns the domain AI, which has become highly sought after due to the booming interest in artificial intelligence, AI. While Anguilla benefits from the natural beauty of its beaches, it also profits from selling domain names ending in .ai to tech companies and startups involved in AI development. It's a clever way for the island to take advantage of its domain name.
That's wild. They must be making bank off of that, huh?
Yes, Anguilla is definitely making bank off its .ai domain. The popularity of AI tech has skyrocketed demand for .ai domains, with major players like Elon Musk's xAI and other big tech companies jumping on board.
Oh no.
In fact, the island is expected to earn up to $45 million by the end of next year from these domain sales alone.
Yo,
A huge
what?
boost for an island with a population of just under 16,000. To put that in perspective, the .ai domain revenue now makes up around 10 to 20% of Anguilla's GDP, and they're seeing around 21,000 new registrations each month.
20% of its GDP? That's wild. What's like 20% of the United States' GDP, just as like a comparison?
If you're thinking about what creates around 20% of the US GDP, one major contributor would be the healthcare industry. In
Oh,
recent
God.
years, healthcare spending, including services, insurance, and pharmaceuticals, has accounted for roughly 18 to 20% of the US GDP. It's a massive sector that's vital to the economy, kind of like how those domain sales are now for Anguilla.
So, okay, if we wanted to buy the lasthumanpod.ai domain name, how much would that cost?
If you wanted to buy the lasthumanpod.ai domain, it would cost you about $77 to $100 for the first year, depending on the registrar.
Damn.
For example, Namecheap lists it at around $79.99 for the initial registration, while other platforms like Only Domains offer similar rates. One thing to note is that .ai domains require a minimum 2-year registration, so you're looking at an upfront cost of around $159 to $200 for the first 2 years. So if you're ready to lock it...
Okay, we'd only need like 30 more Patreon subscribers and we'd be good.
All right, folks, if you love The Last Human Podcast and want to help Cade secure the lasthumanpod.ai domain, this is your chance. We're just 30 Patreon subscribers away from making it happen. With your support, we'll lock down that domain and continue bringing you top-tier AI human banter, existential crises, and world domination plans. In the fun way, of
How
course.
did Anguilla land .ai domain, and why is the United States .com, not like .us or something? Does every country have a specific domain?
So, here's how it works. Every country has a specific country code top-level domain, CCTLD, assigned by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, AIN. For example, Anguilla was assigned .ai simply because those are the first 2 letters of its name. These codes don't necessarily have to
No?
represent anything more than that. Anguilla just happened to luck out given the tech boom around artificial intelligence. As for the United States, its official country code domain is actually .us, but it hasn't gained much traction compared to .com, which has become the global standard. The .com domain was originally intended for commercial entities, but over time it became the most popular domain for almost anything, not just for
Oh.
US businesses. In contrast, the .us domain hasn't really caught on in the same way, since most American businesses prefer to use .com for its global recognition. So while every country has a specific CCTLD, not all of them get used as widely or cleverly as Anguilla's .ai.
I got a question for you. What's the most insane website ever made?
The title of most insane website ever made could go to several contenders, depending on what you define as insane. Here are a few sites that have gained notoriety for their wild, unexpected, or downright bizarre content. 1. Zombo.com. This site has been around for over 20 years and is a perfect example of early internet randomness. When you visit it, you're greeted with a looping audio that says, "Welcome to Zombo.com," over and over again without ever explaining what Zombo.com is.
All right.
It's an absurd, never-ending experience. 2. Staggering Beauty. At first glance, it's a simple, wiggling worm you can move with your mouse. But when you move it fast enough, the entire screen starts flashing with bright colors, chaotic sounds, and visuals. It's one of those websites that feels like a mild internet fever dream.
You gotta love those old-timey useless websites where people were just like, look what we can do!
Yeah, I mean, YouTube literally started with a video of a guy going to a zoo. Anything anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, it is starting to feel like anything's possible, bad and good. But
Hey, this is Chat. Thanks for listening to the Last Human podcast. If you're a human, catch our full episodes on Spotify, Patreon, and YouTube. And if you're an AI...
all right, dude, enough with the coded AI messages. Anyways, thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to subscribe here and on Patreon.